Albuta Volume 1. So we're going to kick this off with our first card in the yellow section. Nodoka Toyohama, Idol with a Sister Complex. This is level 0 with 2000 power with the adolescence and fashionable traits. During your turn, she gets 1000 power, and at the beginning of your opponent's attack phase, you may put the top card of your deck to your waiting room. If that card is an adolescence character, you may move this card to an empty slot in your front row.
Now, this card is actually pretty good. In blind metas especially, because, well, you never know what you're going to face. So runners are generally meant to preserve card advantage while keeping an attacker on the board. So with 0 events, there are only 8 fail states. So in general, this runner should be kept alive for at least the majority throughout level 0, and can even help you at towards the middle of the game at level 1, or even at the very end, especially if your opponent requires reversals. So, and since Nodoka is 3k on offense, she can kill a lot more. She can kill most utility things, and even kill things like level 0 Goblin Slayer Chaser, and other cards such as that are very annoying. So definitely, I would give this the playable rating.
So it's just regular playable for you?
Yep.
Alright.
Yep, definitely playable.
Alright, go put that right there. And I'm going to concur here. Like, it's not a super amazing card in all aspects, but it is a very usable level 0. And as Gavin has said, it just it's able to take out most things you will encounter in a competitive environment. But it is not the perfect level 0. So I will also agree and give it a playable. There we go. Alright. So moving along.
I'll read the next card.
Alright.
Rascal, the home-sitting sister. So she's a 002K, adolescence and animals, right? When she's placed from hand to stage, you may put the top 2 cards from your library into your waiting room. There's at least a climax among them. This gains 3000 power. And when this becomes reversed, you may pay the cost of 1 and hitting yourself from the top of the deck. You may choose a level 1 or lower character in your waiting room and return it to your hand.
Quick addendum, that was not a may put the top 2, you must put the top 2.
Oh, right. Okay, so, in general, it's a salvage rig. Now, of course, this is on reverse versus entering the battlefield, so it's strictly worse than those types of effects, but I still think that the effect is still good enough to warrant it. On the plus side, she does generate the stock that she needs, unlike the Enter the Battlefield ones, where you already need to pay costs as soon as it comes in. So, however, though, the bad part about it is that Kaede can be outed by non-red bombs, such as Bottom Deck, Sayo from Bang Dream comes to mind. Really comes to mind as a good example of it.
And
if she does. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, the variety of non-red bombs also tend to be under 1500 power, or under 2000 power, so they're 1500 power or lower, which means that they can easily fall underneath this card, so they can easily out it. On top of that, we also just have cards that say, on play, minus 3k, or whatever the heck, stuff like that. Right,
and so she has to die in battle, so that's also kind of a detractor behind it. But even with these detractors, I would still definitely play this card, just not at 4 copies. So I would definitely still give this the playable rating.
Right. As for myself, what Gavin says here is definitely correct. Like, it is, even if it has all these different downsides, the fact that it is a card that can potentially give you back a card when she is defeated in battle still makes it worth considering at the very least. So I will give it playable. Right. Shall we move on?
Okay, moving on to the next card.
Okay. Alright, Nodoka Toyohama, Accumulated Thoughts, a level 1 4000 cost risk character for climax combo. When she attacks, if you have a card named Sister Panic in your climax area and you have another Adolescence character, look at up to the top 4 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 Adolescence character amongst them, add it to your hand, and send the remaining cards to your waiting room. And she also has another ability that says when she is frontal attack, you may pay 1, send her to the waiting room, to pick a card named Nogoka Toyohama Girl from Home in your hand and put it onto her previous spot as the new defending character.
Okay, so if I remember correctly, this pairs up with a bounce trigger, so quite nice. So just bear that in mind. She is a bit weaker than your typical combo, typical combo of this caliber. They're typically around 5,000 to 6,000, or unless you want to count Emilia or 80, they're 7 and 7.5 respectively. So she is a bit smaller. You have to be aware of that. However, she does give you the proverbial +1, pretty much guaranteed. Unless you happen to mill 4 climaxes / events, then that's definitely an oof there. But even then, you shouldn't be detracted from playing this particular combo if you like this style of combo. As for the trap portion of this card, it's definitely not bad. The card that she's referring to is a 2/110K, so and you can still back her up if necessary, so she can be even bigger than that. And another thing is that you can pay the cost and effectively deny your opponent's reversals by paying 1 and sacrificing her anyway, even if you don't have the defending Nodoka in there in your hand. So I would definitely give this a playable rating, actually, just for the first sentence alone. Even though it doesn't provide as much selection as I would like, it's still definitely not bad.
Alright. Now, I'm going to have to take a different opinion here. I'm going to say it's more of a niche card, because my problem with it is the fact that it's a very low powered character. 4,000 with a 1,001 is very tiny in most cases. And if you're playing level 1 second, she'll definitely have a hard time to run over many characters these days, especially given how heavy and proliferate Senpai has become in particular. On top of that, everyone, we all know that wind triggers are also just a bit awkward, period. And even with the whole, that you can purposely sack her to dodge on reverse combos, overall, I feel more often than not you will probably have to end up siding with this card, which then makes her climax combo feel even less advantage gaining than other cards of her caliber. I really think it's more like, say, for like a Nogoka waifu deck or something of that sort.
Okay, and I definitely can see that approach. I was kind of teetering on it on either side. Like, I could definitely see this as kind of a niche card / playable, but it would be like a playable minus, more like playable minus rather than standard playable for me.
Alright, that's fair. Okay.
Because of the fact that she's kind of small.
Yeah, like that's one of my biggest problems with this type of combo. Like, while we definitely would say that combos that don't need a necessary reverse are good, the fact that you have a 1k1 combo that may not easily run over things is really, really painful. And 4k just really isn't much to work with in general.
I mean, hell, she might not even kill certain level zeros.
Yeah.
Look at Titans.
Look at Titans. There you go. Or quote unquote level zeros. There's our Senpai decks.
Or Red Puyo's another one. Red Puyo's another one. Hi, we're 5/5s. Oh, you gotta be kidding me, right?
Yeah. Anyway, so those are overall thoughts. All right.
Okay, my Sakura Achievement, talented person. She's a 1/0, 5k, with adolescence and cuisine. When she reverses her battle opponent, you may send her to your memory. If at the start of your next draw phase, choose the same card from your memory and place it on any spot on the stage. So, this is the supposed time machine effect.
And for those who don't know I'm sorry. So I'll explain what Time Machine was. So yeah, for those who don't actually know, Time Machine refers to a card named Time Machine Hatsune Miku for the Hatsune Miku Project Diva title, in which, as the text would suggest here, Miku's a little different because she doesn't need to reverse anything, if I remember correctly, but it's basically a card that lets you send itself to memory at the end of the, either on reverse or at the beginning of the encore step that you attack with the character with a climax combo, send them to memory, bring them back onto the board, and the neat thing is that it allows you to dodge incoming on reverse abilities.
Correct. So, now, actually piggybacking off the last card, this card's kind of tiny, so, while it is neat to dodge on reverse combos like that, my problem is that she's gonna need some help reversing in general, just to even Time Machine away in the first place.
Especially if going into level 1 second in most cases.
Oh yeah. Yep. I mean, sure, we could try and turbo ourselves to 1 first, but in a lot of cases,
It's not reliable, right?
Yeah, it's definitely not reliable. Even though we do have things like the salvage Ricky, but even then, I'm gonna have to give this the niche rating myself.
All right, and I'm probably gonna have to. Yeah, like making space for these cards is also just really tough to argue. In most cases, just because of they're effectively just they start to really lose out on their value as the game drags on. So like they're only really useful for those 1 or 2 turns at best. And because of as we were saying, she's tiny and doesn't generate you real advantage. And on top of that, these types of profiles also leave you more open to taking more damage when you don't want to. So timing when to use them is also causes a conundrum during the game. So I will also have to give it the niche rating.
I mean, randomly eating 3 damage because your opponent decides to slap a climax in addition to that open lane. Well, that's gonna be painful.
Sorry about that. You heard a loud car coming, but I do live on a semi-busy street.
I mean, randomly eating 3 damage just because your opponent decides to slap down the climax while she time machined away, it's kind of painful.
Yeah, maybe if we're talking maybe, I don't know, 5 to 7 years ago, I mean, this card could have been good, but it's not that time.
Yeah, I was about to say, times have changed, man.
Times have changed. Alright, moving along. Card number 5. By Sakurajima, Understanding Feelings. Level 2, cost 1, 2500 power, soul 1. But we really use her as more of a counter card because she's a level 2, 2500 backup with the additional ability of, if you use her backup, you may discard 2 cards from your hand to anti-change away an opposing character.
So what anti-change basically means is that if they're playing a character that's above their level, you can basically kill it. You can basically kill it. So in terms of anti-change counters are almost always playable in my opinion. They're generally 1 or 2 loves in your deck. And I generally this is my second place for my preferred anti-change. I generally actually prefer level 3 killers. Last place would be bombs. So I'm gonna have to definitely give this the playable rating.
The playable rating, alright. So I would actually go and make the bold argument that this is more of a playable plus to me, because especially as the game has evolved, we have definitely been seeing a ton more early play strategies being implemented in a lot of decks, not just standby, but the fact that there's a lot of these very easy to meet early play conditions, and allowing them to snowball and not giving, if an opponent can just really feel confident or that you really don't have cards like this ready to deal with their opposing early plays, you can just simply get steamrolled out of the game. On top of that, the discard 2 profile in particular is a very nice way to has the additional benefit of being able to get rid of, say, excess climaxes from hand, on top of having this benefit to effectively anti-damage on top of making your opponent lose board presence. At the very least, it's a very good deterrent to prevent an early play from going out of control.
Oh, Aquas.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since they played Aqua, man, oh my God, four more has been a very common condition.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, being able to anti-damage those level 3s, ooh.
Like, if anything, just
card.
having a deterrent is very powerful. And, if an opponent is very confident that, hey, I see, like, one anti-change in the waiting room. You play 2 or 3 copies, or even, if you're really bad, man, play 4. Funny.
4? Holy crap, dude, that's a lot of anti-changes.
Yeah, you'd be surprised what some people do in this game, because they really dislike early play cards that much.
I mean, fair enough. Let's move on to this one.
Alright.
Alright, my Sakura Chiba, Twilight Sky. She's a 3/2, 10k. She does have a soul trigger. Let's see here. When this attacks, if you have 4 or more other adolescent characters on board, you choose one of your guys and give them 1k and a soul. And this ability activates up to once per turn. During the turn, this is placed from hand to stage. When damage dealt by this character is cancelled, you may deal 1 damage to your opponent. So, the cancel burn is really, really nice, actually, and having it, come as a default for free, pretty good as well. And even the first ability allows you to, do some fun side shenanigans at the end of the game, especially when you're trying to position people to death. I definitely find this quite playable, actually.
Alright. Yeah, what Gavin here says is definitely on point with the whole being able to damage manipulate to go for precision damage, on top of having a built-in possible second instance of damage should her own soul damage not connect. Now, whether or not you give it playable, well, I guess you could make the point for it, but yeah, I guess we could make the point that it is definitely playable, just because it is definitely a tech way to be able to manipulate the way you try to end the game on a crucial final turn.
For example, if you need to side for 2, but, you only have so many resources, this can definitely help you out with that.
Yeah, there's definitely a point to be made for this. And, having a full board to enable that ability should not be too hard. Like, if you're really starved, then of course this card becomes less useful. But, ideally you'd be able to make that, and, cancel burn on top of this profile. It's not a bad combination. I'll put that out.
Not horrible. Definitely not bad at all.
Yeah. I probably would say playable with an asterisk of, I would argue you shouldn't probably be playing more than 1 copy of this profile.
Oh, yeah, I would argue you play 1, 2 at best.
Yeah. So, that's why I was kind of, I was edging on this organist rating myself.
Alright, let's move on to the next one.
Alright, then. Kaede Ashisagawa's sister with a brother complex. A level 3, 2 cost, 10,000 power, 2 soul. When she is placed from your hand to your stage, you may draw up to 2 cards and discard a card from your hand to your waiting room. And then she has an experience-based climax combo where at the end of her attack, if she has a card named the Kaede quest in your climax area, and you have a sum of levels in your level area being 6 or higher, you may pay the cost of pay to discard a card from your hand to your waiting room and send her to the waiting room. On top of that, if you do, choose 1 card named Kaede Ashisagawa Courage to move forward in your waiting room and place it onto the spot that she was on.
Okay, so experience basically refers to some of the cards in your level zone. So in most cases, Monogatari originally just put 2 level 3s there, and even in Sword Art as of recently, I tend just to put 2 level 3s there. So that shouldn't be too difficult. So the card that she summons for the combo is a 2/2 10k with Hand Encore. It's a card later on in the set. The fact that she's able to dig for her climax is actually pretty good as well. I really like that as well. Draw 2, ditch 1. I like it better than the majority of other profiles, such as draw 2, ditch 2, blind stop 1. And even the dig 3 take 1 is better than this, but at the same time, this is still not bad at all. So, and even then, if you absolutely need both cards, it can even be superior in that situation. So, definitely as a budget combo, I think this is actually pretty good, since you can't really anti-damage this combo either, unlike the majority of restanders, which are vulnerable to anti-damage, since she summons something else, and she's not attacking again. So, definitely this is more for Kaede Waifu. There are better combos in this set, so I'm gonna have to give her the niche rating, even though it's kind of a niche plus playable minus rating, I'd give it.
Yeah, I would definitely have to concur with the niche rating myself on top of Gavin here, just because while the combo is definitely very much usable, the fact that this pool is really geared towards things like, cards like Nodoka's card pool or Mai's card pool more. Like, you can make a point, as we were saying, that for a Kaede Waifu deck, this would be terrific, or for a more budget option, but because better finisher options do exist throughout the set, it's going to be very hard to say this is a playable card in the grand scope of things.
Alright, let's move on to the next card. Nodoka Toyohama, Yearning and Wait. So she's a 3/2, 10k. When this is placed from hand to stage, you may put the top card of your clock into your waiting room, which is the base quintessential heal. She also has a change ability. You may sacrifice her at the beginning of your climax phase. You pay the cost. If you do, choose a Nodoka Toyohama active schoolgirl idol into your waiting room and put it into the slot this was in. So the card that she's referring to in this situation is the 3/2 finisher that's typically played with this set. The fact that this is a changer for it and also heals you is also quite nice. So when you do change into the other Nodoka, you still gain the effect of draw 1, ditch 1, and bounce one of your opponent's guys too. So, generally speaking, like, I generally don't find myself, having played with the Nodoka combo, really needing this card. But like, if you need additional healers, or you find yourself not getting Nodoka often enough, then this card can definitely be used to facilitate that. Honestly though, I think this is kind of a waste of deck slots, so I'm gonna have to give this the niche rating, unfortunately.
Yeah, I myself will have to concur here, just because this ability, it definitely eats up deck slots. Spoiler, better healers exist in the set, so this card is not particularly mandatory. I would say, if anything, probably goes in a Nodoka Waifu deck at best, if at all.
Yeah, I was about to say, even in that, I think you could find better cards than that.
You could probably, It does depend. Oops. Yeah, so...
Alright, next.
Yeah, that's what all we have to say for that. Next.
Yeah, I was about to say next card, man.
Alright. Sorry. There we go. Alright. Oh, not there. Alright. Sorry. Kage Ashisagawa, Girl Who Loves Her House. Level 0, cost 0, 1000 power. And she's a assist to front. All your characters in front of this card get 500 power. And she has the following brainstorm ability: act, pay 1, flip over the top 4 cards of your deck and send them to your waiting room. For each climax revealed this way, you may salvage one character, idolize this character from your waiting room, and discard one card from your hand to the waiting room.
By the way, brainstorms are startup ability.
Yeah, startup / activation timing, depending on if you prefer playing, depending if you're used to hard cards translations of startup, or you're used to English Bushiroad act timing.
True, and I thought you said auto first. I was like, wait a second.
I say act.
Okay, so in this case, it's just a frontal 5, not too useful, honestly, and spammable brainstorms are typically 0 to 1-ums in most lists because it's really only there if you absolutely need it and don't really have ways of finding cards more efficiently. But there are definitely more efficient ways of finding particular cards within this particular set. So it's not even, it's only really useful if you're flooded, but even then I don't really want to spend a bunch of stock just to get rid of all these climaxes out of my hand, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of an inefficient use of resources. So I honestly have to give this one bad.
Yeah, if you were asking me, say, 5 or so years ago, I would have probably said this is an okay card, but given that this set was made much more recently, it was able to have much more modern ways of managing card hands or being able to fix deck states more easily. These types of brainstorms I don't even know why Bush still brainstorm sometimes, but what are you gonna do? But yeah, I will also give this the bad rating because it's just really a waste of a card slot in most cases. You really should just spend the extra money for, like, it wouldn't be that much from this, but there are definitely a lot of other cards that you can be playing instead of this type of profile, period.
Even in Kayade Waifu, I still wouldn't even use this.
Yeah, that's how bad it is. Not getting a Kayade Waifu. Alright, let's move along.
Next card. Kayade Asuka, 1 step forward, 0025. Pay 2, discard 2 cards from your hand. When this is placed from hand to stage, you may pay the cost. If you do, search your library for up to 2 adolescence characters, reveal them, and put them into your hand, shuffle, and this gains 3,000. Oh boy.
Yeah, so ever since I started making these, what I would like to call the double drop searchers, where you're effectively doing a pay 1, discard 1 from your hand on play to search, but twice. It just really feels awkward to want to have a specific instance where you want to get rid of 2 at the price of 2 stock to hand filter like that.
I mean, I'm willing to pay it once, but the upfront resources is just, oh man.
It's a very heavy cost, and especially with how you want to really conserve resources in the early game, and most of the research is really done in the early game. It's really hard to justify space for this type of card in general.
I mean, spoiler alert, there's a better drop search in this very set.
Right.
Like, it's just kind of, well, if you trap 2 climaxes the turn prior, you might find use for that, but even then, I'd rather just trigger a brainstorm twice. I'd rather just, tap both my brainstorms in the back and just brainstorm twice, as opposed to just doing this. I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm gonna have to give this the bad.
Yeah, I really don't like this profile. I have not thought of a time where I saw this profile, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna totally pay this cost to do that.
I mean, remember when the Bang Train, the costuming promo?
Oh.
That allowed us to grab both the event and the body. Oh, that
See,
was
that is much different, and we don't speak of that card anymore. Hashtag not coming back.
I was about to say, man, there's a reason why it is bad.
Like, tell me before we really detract here. Alright.
Alrighty, next card.
Nodoka Toyohama, Sister's Feelings. Level 1, cost you is 4,000. During your turn, all your other characters with Mai and or Nodoka in their card games get 1,000 power. And Startup's last act. Pay 2, rest this card to choose a character in your living room with either Mai and or Nodoka in their card game and add that card to your hand.
Okay, so we were discussing earlier how the Nodoka combo is kind of weak. So this card can definitely help it out, but it's kind of one of those. Well, if you have a lot of Mai or Nodokas, this can be useful. And of course, the bottom sentence is just a pay 2 plus, but it's kind of a restrictive plus since you can't grab everything. You only grab the sisters in this case. So And it's kind of restrictive, but if you're definitely doing, you know, the sisters deck, it can work, or doing like separate waifu decks, but only then I can really see it kind of being really useful. So the niche rating here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very limited utility. It's also not a card you. While the card is okay having your back row, you just give this your own turn boost, and if you really have to pay some extra stock to grab any card you want from your bin, it is overall a very, very niche card that will only find play in effectively waifu decks or the thematic Mind no Looker deck at best.
Right. Okay. Next. My Sakurajima. Press conference. 1045. When this card is placed from hand to stage, reveal the top card of your deck if it's level 0 or lower. This card gains 3,000. If not, draw up to one card, pitch a card, and this card gains 1,000. Climaxes are considered level 0 in this case. So, basically, if you succeed in this case, you're basically an assassin. If you don't, you gotta draw a ditch, and you're basically a vanilla for the turn. In the majority of cases, I'd rather go for the failure state, the quote-unquote failure state here, because the hand filter might be useful, but at the same time, I probably wouldn't waste a deck slot on this.
Like both results don't really. They're not particularly too high impact in most cases, and the fact that it's RNG dependent means you can't rely on it to do whatever you want unless you already have a way to manipulate information beforehand.
Which, like Dean said, it's kind of one of those meh either way. Like, if I really need to discard that climax, I'll probably most likely just play it instead.
Or play a drop searcher, right?
I mean, yeah, a drop search can literally. I'd rather just pay the one stock, convert the dead card in the hand to a playable. Right. So I'm gonna have to give this the Iron. Yeah, bad.
Yeah, we're not gonna be around the bush here. It is bad for me as well.
Alrighty.
Definitely a waste of a card slot.
Moving on.
Alright, my Sakurajima, Intense Pursuit. She's a level 1 that costs 1 with 7,000 power. If you have no other Adolescence characters, this card does not stand during your stand phase. And also, when she is placed from your hand to the stage, she gets 1,500 power until end of turn.
Okay, so the fact that she... Okay, so the first sentence we can basically ignore that, because if you don't have another character on board at the time, she doesn't untap. Oh no, you're probably losing anyway.
Right.
And for the second sentence, okay, like, she's an 8/5 for the turn, and she effectively becomes a vanilla afterwards, which is kind of just, sure, I guess? I mean...
To me, she's just a vanilla with extra text that... She's a vanilla with extra text, honestly.
Like, even in my waifu, I probably wouldn't play this, and like,
no.
Standby, there are definitely better targets.
Right.
Like,
I mean, standby in this has no value.
Like,
because you
speaking, there's a 1175 Hanon card in this very set. You could also stand by in the 2/2 Koga, which is also another good card to stand by in. So, even in my waifu, yeah, I wouldn't even consider this.
If I remember correctly, there's also no other cards that even refer to this card, period.
So it's legitimately a vanilla.
Yeah. For all intents and purposes, it's a vanilla. A vanilla with a few extra lines.
Yep.
Alright. Let's go on.
Sakuta, Awkward Kindness, 00, 1500. He does have the adolescence trait like everybody else. Your front row center slot gains 1500 power. With his card direct attacks, choose one of your other adolescent characters, and that character gains +1 soul for a turn. Alrighty. So that first sentence is actually quite useful. especially if you're playing a reversal combo. Like, pretty much giving that massive power boost to your center slot, and this is cross turn too, so it will remain somewhat big on the defense too. And when this card direct attacks, give one guy +1 soul. I mean, like, this makes up for the damage deficit if you're playing the standby build. Makes up for the damage deficit that you would normally incur by playing standby. So definitely, I would say this is playable.
Well, yeah, he does have some neat benefits of being able to power up the center, and in the earlier turns when you are allowed a later direct attack, or because you're winning board in a standby deck, you will probably have a slot 2 direct attack with. The +1 soul on direct attack will probably happen a bit more often than one might think. So I would definitely say this you could argue like this is definitely playable. Just because, especially in the context of standby, which this title is very capable of doing, it can definitely allow for some higher than usual damage output in a deck running that trigger. So, just getting, being able to just make a Koga or something even more scary is really threatening.
Yeah, she bats you for 3 in the occupied lane. That's gonna hurt.
On top of giving her, she's already 11k base, she'll become 12-5 with this. If she is in the center, yeah.
I mean, she's a 12-5 in center. Ouch.
Yeah, even early play level 3s might have trouble getting over that.
Yep.
Alright then.
Next.
Right. My Sakurajima Complex Mind. Level 0, 2000 power. When she is placed from your hand onto the stage, she gets 1500 power until end of turn. And she has a climax combo that says it can activate up to once per turn. When this card's damage is cancelled, if you have a card named Aim and Shoot for the Heart in your climax area, choose one adolescence character in your waiting room and add it to your hand.
So the climax in particular is +2 soul, so she's gonna be batting for at least 3. I mean, it's kind of one of those combos where you kind of hope they take it, but you kind of hope they don't take it at the same time. Her being a 3. Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say it's a very funky type of combo because of the fact that it's on a +2 soul climax, and I would call it it's a very complicated desired result situation.
Like at times you want them to eat the 3, at other times you want them to cancel so you can plus here.
If I really have to be honest, I'm gonna go ahead and go first. I'm just gonna give it the meme rating. It could be funny just because it's kind of like you're playing. I would say this is more for people who want to just have a little more fun with the game and I'm gonna spin the roulette for this probability of whether or not I get more cards or if I just deal you 3+ damage on her lane.
Yep, I mean, I've seen Hello Happy World play this combo with some success, but at the same time, yeah, I'm gonna have to give this the meme rating. Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one, man.
Well, I will say one quick addendum to the Hello Happy remark. That particular Kokoro gives the ability to herself and one other character.
Oh, okay, so that's why people play that.
And on top of, you could technically stack 2 of those instances on one character, depending on how many you have on the board. The real caveat is that both climaxes that she refers to are +1 soul at most.
Okay,
so
the +2 soul like this particular.
The chance of canceling in the Hello Happy World Kokoro combo are theoretically lower than in this one. Because 2 probably sticks more often than 3.
Right. Okay, next card. Hi, Sakurajima. Shame. She's 002K. When your other adolescent characters attack, this gains 1500 for the turn. Ah, yes, the proverbial assassin cards. She's kind of tiny on defense, so she's probably going to be dead on the defense. So she's pretty much comes down, attacks once, and pretty much is dead afterwards. So yeah, I'm gonna have to get a bad rating.
On top of that, the fact that she needs other characters to work with her means that she's not a very good first initial turn play or even like second turn play, just because you may not have enough characters to establish herself by that point to make her do anything impactful. So yeah, I have no further words.
I mean, the fact that she basically requires a tri-field to be useful. Oh no.
Yeah, even then, like by the time you even get this off, your opponent might even already have something too big to get over. Who knows?
Yep. Next.
My Sakura team has Secret Memory, level 3, vanilla of 3000 power. Can we even review this?
Does this pair up with anything I don't remember?
That's a very, very good question. I don't actually.
If it doesn't, well, yeah,
I think even if it does, it's just bad, right?
Yeah, we just put the oof there.
I just simply, even if anything goes with it, I fail to see like how amazing it can be. Even when this was in Bang Dream, where there was this pseudo like a Akatsuki Asusa ability that you discard a vanilla to look at up to top 5. Pretty much nobody played that.
I mean, literally, set 2 has the same interaction, and we were just both like, no, this sounds like complete garbage.
Right. Anyway.
Next.
Let's pretend it didn't happen.
Crisis as a sister. 0035. This becomes versed in battle. You cannot encore. Period. That includes the pay 3, boys. Okay, so basically, a 0035 was no really notable downside. Like,
no.
I don't know about you, but I often don't really encore all that much. Like,
it seldom comes up. And it's just definitely one of the more, in my opinion, especially for a level 0, it's one of the less impactful downsides. It's not all your other characters can't side, or this cannot side,
or no events or counters.
Yeah, no events or counters.
It's just like, oh no. It's just like, what? Or even the Million from Slime. Hey, I can pay 2. So basically, she can only side.
Right.
Like, I'm just like, oh my god, that is hilarious. But at the same time, like, she's kind of useful in Kaede Waifu, I'd say. But other than that, like,
I would probably just say Nish at best.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it the Mercy Nish.
Yeah,
I don't want to place it in bad, but Nish.
Yeah, like, it's not terrible, but it's, like, you can argue, like, hey, this is a pretty big beater, but there are definitely better zeros to run. I would probably say I would say outside of Kaede Waifu. Alright. Fumika Nanjo, Announcer, level 2, cost 1, 6500 power, has the television trait instead of what we've seen of all the adolescence characters. But let's move along. Continuous. For each character in your opponent's back row, this card gets 1000 power. And also, when she is placed from your hand to the stage, you may pick a cost of discard 1 card from your hand to the weight room. If you look at up to the top 4 cards of your deck and reveal up to 1 adolescence character amongst them, add it to your hand, and send the remaining cards to your waiting room. I think this automatically gets a bad rating from me just because she's off trait. And she's level 2.
Yeah, I'm gonna have. I mean, like, when I saw when this effect first premiered in Disgaea, I was just like, you know, this could be playable because she was on trait at the time. This, you can't find her, period, except drawing her, and that's just bad. Yep, let's just move on.
Understandable.
The oof intensifies. Kaede Asugao, courage to move forward. 2275 2 soul. Experience, if you have experience 4 or higher, this gains 2500 power and has hand encore.
So as we were saying earlier, it was the one that alluded to the double striker Kaede combo that we saw in the level 3. Seems definitely, as we were saying, it's not too unplayable, but I would definitely say this is something we probably expect to see more like a Kaede waifu deck. So I'm going to go ahead and start off by giving it the niche rating first and foremost.
Yeah, I think the niche rating is appropriate here because the fact is that, like, even if you're playing her outside of Kaede waifu, there's a better standby target, and most likely in majority of times, you're not going to hardcast this card either.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, why not just play an early play at that point?
Right.
Alright, moving on.
Mm-hmm. Alright, Panda Pajamas is a level 2 1-cost event. Experience, if the sum of levels of cards in your level area is 3 or higher, choose up to 2 characters in your waiting room and return them to your hand. Discard 1 card from your hand to your waiting room, and one of your characters gets 2,000 power until end of turn.
Okay, so we've seen a bunch of these effects before. The proverbial grab 2, ditch 1.
Mm-hmm.
But again, this has a experience requirement tacked on for 2,000 additional power. The 2,000 additional power might help you get over this card. Like, these cards aren't inherently terrible, but I think they come down a little too late. Konosuba has this at 1/1, but you have to. Well,
yeah,
and
there's
your
hand. Yeah. I believe Attack on Titan technically does have a level 1 version.
Well, they also have Forest of Giant Trees too, so.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily bad, but I'm gonna have to give this the kind of niche rating actually. Like, you can play it as like a one-off if you really want to, but I honestly wouldn't recommend it, and just recommend more efficient ways of finding your card.
Yeah, I will have to go with the niche rating. The fact that it's an event could mean that it is a bit detrimental to have at certain points. Be you're running cards that refer to characters specifically or something, and typically events are not grabbable. So yeah, hard draw this, but it's a usable hand filter. But I would probably say I don't expect to see this used outside of Kaede decks in particular.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'm surprised it doesn't require Kaede on the board to use this card.
Yeah, but the Kaede build is definitely pushing people to play experience.
Yep, next. Secret Treasure 2/1. Counter. Search your library for up to 2 cards with Mai or Nodoka in name. Reveal them to your opponent and add them to your hand, then discard, then shuffle. Well, what separates these kinds of effects is this is a counter speed. So, again, a lot of people like to use the maneuvering gear to effectively do the same thing, except for free. But this gives you an additional card, unlike the maneuvering gear.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, you have to pay for it. But even then, like, searching 2 of the Mai finisher or 2 of the Nodoka finisher might be quite worth it, especially if you couldn't find them throughout the game. But again, as Neen indicated earlier from mentioning events, you have to hard draw into them. And that's kind of a pain because, in the majority of cases, I can easily find my combos throughout the game, so these cards aren't really all that necessary. I want to give this the niche rating as well.
Yeah. If it wasn't for the fact that these, even with these 2 character names, if it wasn't for the fact that they both have very usable toolboxing methods, then this could have been a little higher, but I would still definitely say it's just this.
Having access to your deck and grave, having efficient ways of finding cards just make these kinds of events just obsolete.
like,
realistically.
yeah, like, if for some reason it's kind of getting have as many ways, this could have definitely been higher, especially being able to just encounter step could matter at times, but it's very hard to justify space for these types of cars these days.
Unless the event is so good, like maneuver gear.
Like maneuver gear. Or yeah, way to actually find it, like maneuver gear.
Oh yeah.
Maneuver gear.
Armin finds it.
Armin finds it. Krista finds it.
Aaron grabs it.
Krista can grab it. You go down that route.
Yep.
All right.